It's so awesome being self-employed. You don't have to answer to anyone. You put your heart and soul into something that you love and cherish with your being. It's your baby, essentially, and it's your gifts that you're sharing, your talents that you're sharing. So, being self employed is deeply personal. I get it. It's awesome. I was that way. And we don't talk about this as much, but it's also very limiting in the sense that, well, unless you have a team working for you or systems in place that are doing most of the heavy lifting, you are most likely wearing all the hats in your business. And we all know how exhausting that is. And truly, it can take away from our essence and our actual gifts that we want to serve. And I know me as a coach, when I was coaching full time and having to do every other thing in my business, marketing, the sales calls, showing up online, and uh, all those little things that should be outsourced, I didn't have the capacity to hire anyone to take on that extra work for me. So email lists, funnels, all the 9 yards, learning how to do that when at the end of the day, all I wanted to do was coach. And it led me into burnout, frankly. And it was so challenging for me. I was not showing up at my fullest capacity when I should have been. And there's a lot of strain that comes along with it that's, of course, not really talked about. And it's the dark side of self employment because at the end of the day, we're still trading our time for money. That means when we like our physical presence is needed to be able to be paid. So we give our service and we're paid in return. So you can see the limitations because there's only so much time in the day, only so much time during the week. So there's not a lot of freedom in that when we're trying to meet our monthly quotas and as the cost of living is going up and trying to manage that and raising our prices to adjust. There's a lot of added things that go along with it versus automation. Now, what is automation and why do we need it? Why is it so crucial in our business? Well, this is taking the concept of being self employed and trading time for money to having systems in place that are working overtime on your behalf. So, this is the concept of making money in your sleep. We've heard that tagline before, but this is the truth. This is passive income because these systems are doing 80% of the heavy lifting for you. Now, systems can come in a form of technology systems or having a team that's working on your behalf. So, in our business, we actually have both. We have systems as far as technology that we utilize, and we also have a team that closes all your calls on your behalf. So, you never even have to pick up the phone to do a sales call, which is unheard of and incredible. So, you can actually just focus on the one thing, which is just being your authentic self, building your personal brand, and attracting people to you and then guiding them to our service. That's it. So if you don't have automation in your business, you don't have a freedom business. And I'm sure you got into self employment like I did, wanting more freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, all the freedoms, right? But what I learned is I just bought myself another job and I was actually working way more than I ever did while having a traditional job because, again, you have to do everything. So 80 hours a week was kind of a norm, actually. I'm sad to admit that. But time freedom was not in the equation. And this is the dark side of self employment. And I found myself I had to trade one thing for the next. So I never had it all. I never had time freedom and financial freedom and location freedom. I had to trade one for the other. So if I wanted to make more money, I had to sacrifice more time to make more money. More output would give me more in return. That's that trading your time for money concept. But again, having automation in your business is working smarter and not harder because we're all about this here in a freedom business that we cultivated to be this way. so we can have what it takes to be truly free. And that's having all those four qualities: location freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, and health freedom. Because let's face it, we need our health in order to have a life that thrives. Because if we don't have our health, everything else will fall apart. So that absolutely is in the equation. And that was something that I dealt with when I was in former hustle mentality and burnt myself out. My health suffered drastically. So, yeah, we can be successful on paper, but if we're crumbling on the inside, there's no freedom in that, as you can tell. So, I'm very excited because I want to share with you an upcoming event that we have that talks about how this freedom business works and how thousands of us around the world are cultivating all those four quadrants of what it means to have freedom in your life and not having to sacrifice one for the other, because a true freedom business has all those four components. Now, next week, next Tuesday and Wednesday, the 12th and the 13th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to be sharing all about our stories, who we are, what led us to this business, and where we are now, as well as, of course, this incredible freedom business model and how this could all work for you. It's called Life by Design. It's for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, and it's really for anyone that wants and desires to have more freedom, more spaciousness, more ease in their life so they can just live a life of more peace and happiness. Because let's face it, struggling sucks and it doesn't have to be that way. So if you're curious to hear more, comment below and say, I'm in, and I'll send you a message, or just reach out direct to me and ask me how. And I will see you on the other side.